Because inside the enclosed space, sometimes there are rats. Okay? There is materials inside. That the composition is present. So the processes like rust and decomposition, it consumes oxygen. And once the crew is inside that enclosed space, it might lead to asphyxiation. Okay? Now, what do you mean by asphyxiation? Okay. This asphyxiation is when a person's body doesn't get enough oxygen, of course, to breathe properly. Alright? Because oxygen is very important for us in order to breathe properly. So, asphyxiation is only a medical term for suffocation. Okay? Suffocation and asphyxiation are the same. Okay. Now, chemicals or gases, these are toxic fumes. Okay? That breathing in or inhaling, okay, these chemicals or gases is not good to our body, and it might lead to suffocation or asphyxiation in an enclosed space. Okay? Now, carbon monoxide is bad for our system, for our body. Once we inhale this over or excess carbon monoxide, it might lead to death. Okay? Worse, you will be suffocated and it might lead to death. Okay? Because carbon monoxide, okay, once it is mixed with our blood, okay, is not good. Alright? Okay. So, danger number 2. This is what I mentioned earlier. Toxic gases. Yes. Hazardous, dangerous gases. These are hydrogen sulfide, or I mentioned earlier, the carbon monoxide. Okay. Once accumulated from cargo or from machinery in an enclosed space, it toxic. It's toxic. It's hazardous. It will become hazardous gases. Alright? Okay. The third danger, the flammable atmosphere. Okay. Once inside the enclosed space, we cannot, what do you call this? We cannot refrain from inhaling because of the vapors from this flammable environment. Okay, primary goal of this drill is to train again the crew to safely enter, to work in, and how to rescue someone from an enclosed space. Yes, that is our primary goal, to train the crew how to enter that space, that enclosed space safely, how you are going to work inside that enclosed space, and how to rescue, okay, someone from that enclosed space. Okay, now, yes, who are responsible for this? Okay, now there are key personnel, and what are their roles? Okay, we have number one, key, okay, important. The key personnel is what we call entry permit holder, right? The entry permit holder. I mentioned that earlier. Now, it says here that this person is in charge, alright? risk assessment. Okay? You have to identify, okay, the expected danger or the potential hazard before any entry to do. Okay? You have to have a risk assessment. You have to, what we call this, foresee, okay, what if, what will happen, okay? You have to identify the possible danger before going inside the enclosed space. Risk assessment. So that, of course, you or everyone will know what to do next. Alright? Next, you have to check the ventilation. Okay? You have to check if there will be enough oxygen inside. Okay? If the enclosed space, you have to check if the enclosed space have enough or have enough ventilation. Okay? In order to know, okay, if gases or if needed, you will add oxygen. You will use an oxygen tank inside. Alright? So, second is ventilation. You have to check it. Alright? The third pre-entry procedure is the gas measurement. Of course, when entering or before entering, because you are in pre-entry procedures, you have to check the oxygen level inside the enclosed space. It says here that you have to use a calibrated multi-gas detector. Yes, to check for oxygen real life situation. Okay? Like the entry for inspection or for maintenance of board. Okay? Yes. During the drill scenario, okay, each crew, alright, if possible, each crew on board should have the knowledge or how are you going to manage it? Okay? And since our body itself needs oxygen and the oxygen is poor on that space, of course, leads to suffocation and worse it could lead to death. Okay? So that is why we conduct enclosed space drills also, not just like fire drill, not just like abandoned ship drill or the man overboard drill. This one, the the enclosed space drill is also important. Alright? So our question number one. What what's the main purpose? Yes, of an enclosed space drill. What is the main purpose? What is our goal? Why do we conduct enclosed space drills? Of course, to train the crew, you, everyone, to safely enter. Okay? And also rescue someone from a confined area. That is our main purpose. Okay? Why do we conduct enclosed space drills? Alright? Okay. Next. Can you name two examples of enclosed space on a ship? Any. Can you name two only? Okay, I mentioned that earlier. What are those? Yeah. one who authorizes the entry, or what we call the person in charge who says go signal. Okay? Yes. Role of that person, the permit holder, is the PIC. He's the one who signs the permit, the permit, the entry permit. Alright. Okay. Why is good ventilation important? Before entering a confined space. Okay. This is very good. This is a very good question. Why is it important to have a good ventilation before entering a confined space? Of course, to purge, okay, hazardous gases, and it can increase the oxygen level. Okay? So to purge, okay, hazardous gases, meaning pushing out, purge, pushing out bad air or gas from the enclosed or confined space, like the carbon gas, right? And in order to increase the oxygen level inside. Okay? Alright. Now, what happens? Okay, after the drill is completed, what do you think? What will happen? Okay, after the drill, alright, yes, there's a debriefing. Okay, there's a discussion, of course, alright, of discussion about what happened to the drill or what went well of the drill or what are the procedures to improve. Okay? That is why the briefing is done after the drill. Alright? So what happens after a drill is completed? A debriefing is held to discuss the drill outcome and identify areas for improvement. Alright? Okay. So next, now, our conclusion here, okay, our conclusion is that maritime enclosed space, okay, is a quick safety guide, and this drill prepares the crew for a safe entry into the dangerous spaces. Okay, that's the reason why everyone should conduct a confined or unenclosed space drill. Okay, here, look here. They prepared for a safety entry. Okay, remember, these are the attendants. Alright, the attendants. And these two are the entrance. Right? Attendant, entrance. The two. One, two, entrance. Alright. They prepare. Right? As you can see here, they prepare and they test. Okay? This one is the attendant. The entrance. 4 drills that was discussed. Fire